This one's for Mary Nordberg. She thinks she can't make a mask. I think she probably can, but I disagree with okay. I don't think everybody can make a mask, especially using a sewing machine. I take for granted my ability to sit down and be able to make something that seems so easy until I pick up a sewing pattern or a knitting pattern that I don't understand. And then I think, oh, this isn't so easy. But the masks I've been making have been easy for me. I have on my fingers still. This is what I do. I start with a 9x14 piece of fabric. You can cut it with scissors, you can mark it with pencil, you can use a ruler, you can use a soft measuring tape, you can use a tape measure, whatever you use to cut and measure things. If you have a sewing machine, you probably have some sort of way to cut fabric. 9x14. And you can use two pieces of elastic that are 6 to 7 inches long. These were headbands that I cut up. They came in a little packet at Walmart. Here we go, put my headband on. Elastic's really hard to find right now because there's a supply chain shortage because everyone in the whole world is making themselves headbands. Face masks. So, but I happen to find these, which worked out great, although these are actually in hard supply too. You can make some with fabric straps, but I've lucked out to find elastic, so I'm sticking with my elastic. You're gonna fold this bad boy in half with what's called the right sides together, the pretty sides. You can stick a pin in it if you want. Keep it all together. I have this fabulous pin cushion that was given to me a long time ago by a wonderful girl, now a woman of course, named Hannah Newhouse. She's a car racer, she's a model, she's rad. Anyway, I got my pin, boom, got my elastic. Here it is. I'm gonna put my elastic down at the folded edge of my fabric. I'm gonna just jam it down in there. Sometimes it's easier than other times. Okay, got it in there, sticking out just a little bit. I'm gonna put it on my machine. Before I get to that other corner, I am going to grab this elastic inside. I'm gonna take my pin out because it's gonna get in my way. I'm gonna grab my elastic. Here it is. And I'm gonna pull it around and stick it so it's like 3/4 of an inch away from the edge. I'm going to go up and over the top of it. I like to back stitch over my elastic. Oh, my thread broke, which is a really serious bummer. Sad story. All right, I'll be back in a minute. And I'm back. Rethreaded my machine. Good to go. Okay, I'm going to stop, needle in towards the end. I'm going to pull my elastic that's attached up in that corner, and I'm just going to simply pull it through, let it stick out a little bit. I try to put it about 3/4 of an inch from the end. Just press your foot back down, up and over, back stitch it, pivot at that corner. And you're going to go over towards the middle. You're going to backstitch. You don't want to go all the way across because you have another side to do. So I've got one side sewn, got the other side to go. So I'm going to do this again where I take my rubber band, put it down in here. Honestly, I think you could do this with hair ties too. You want to use the flat hair ties though. The round hair ties are a real pain to sew. The round just pops out of stuff. But if you had some of the flat elastic hair ties, I think you could probably just cut those apart and do them. There's all kinds of videos to tell you how to do all kinds of crazy things. This one's just for Nordberg. Go forward, backstitch. Again, stop before you get to the end. Grab that elastic, pull it up and over. As you can tell, if you can see here, oh, you can't, never mind, doesn't even matter. Put it back down, go in the corner. Now I don't want to sew all the way to where I sewed before because that would close this up. I need to leave a hole here. So I'm going to back stitch, I'm going to pull it off. I'm going to clip all your threads. And then through your little hole that you left, you are going to pop the right side out. You're going to turn it right side out. Use your thumb, pop up your corners. You have a mask. Now here's the deal. This mask, it's big. I don't like them this big, so I pleat them. If you don't know how to pleat or you don't want to pleat, then by all means, you don't have to do this next step. You can start with a smaller piece of fabric, but that's what I like to do. So pull this in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go. Okay, to pleat, all you do is you grab the top edge, you fold it down, and you stick 2 pins into it. I do that 3 times. Now at my house, I have an ironing board. So I would iron this to make it all nice and crisp edges, but I think a lot of people don't have ironing boards. So I'm not gonna worry about ironing a board. If you do have an iron, you can spray this with a little water and then iron it. It'll be nice and flat and pleated. And then we're gonna top stitch the whole thing around it to keep those pleats in place. So let's go back to the machine. And let's top stitch. Top stitch means you're sewing something that's already been sewn. You're sewing it close to the edge so that it will look nice and stay in place. You gotta pull these pins out as you get to them, unless you have a sewing machine that can sew over pins and you don't worry about it. I can sew over pins, but the risk of breaking my needle is high, and then I have to deal with a broken needle. So I just take my pins out. Remember, you got this hole right here? So as you top stitch, make sure that the hole is folded in on itself. You're making pivots at the corners. That means you leave your needle in, you pull your presser foot up. The trick with these pivot pleats is you don't want the fabric to fold over up on itself while you're sewing. So just make sure that the fabric is staying flat. Go back to where you started, give it a little back stitch, pull it up, and clip. And that, my friends, is your mask. There it is. The little pleats create space so it can push all the way up if you want. It's not as big on the side. You can fold it up. Easy to pull down if you need to. There you go. Have a good day.